Really sorry if this video goes on long, but I'm just loving comics at the moment. Hello everybody, it's me GhostCritic and it's time to look at some comics again. Yes, it's another comic book review video from me. If you watched my video on Wednesday, Comic Book Day, you'll have seen my pull list and what I picked up and what I've been reading over the last few days. And here we are, getting ready to hear my thoughts about them. I had 6 comic books to read this week and actually they were all pretty good. There was certainly one that stood head and shoulders above all the rest, and oh, was it good. But let's kick off with the rest first, and we'll leave the best till last. The sex got a little bit better this week. Issue number 11 of Joe Casey's Sex came out this week from Image, and you know what? When Joe Casey stops throwing all the sex in our faces, the big orgies, the kind of sexual perversions, and actually goes ahead and tells a story, it shines through. Who'd have thought? I do really think Joe Casey needs to drop all the sex now. We get the picture, we've had the controversy, we've had the selling point, now get into kind of like the guts of the story. And there certainly is quite a bit going on in this issue. We kick off with basically our reunion between Simon Cook and Keenan, who were at one point the kind of dynamic duo of this title, only their relationship wasn't quite that of kind of a Bruce and, say, Dick Grayson kind of father-son relationship. There was certainly some animosity, some well, basically there's no love lost between these two. We certainly see that Keenan really wasn't a sidekick for Simon Cook that long, about 10 months before Simon Cook gave up being the protector of this city. And there seems to be no love lost, no kind of remorse at leaving Keenan high and dry by Simon. And the two, this hasn't been a happy reunion, and there's lots of shouting and name calling and kind of digging old past wounds. But it was really interesting to get a little bit more flavour of how these two kind of worked, or in some cases didn't work well together. Simon Cook comes across as like, you don't know what I've had to put up with, what I've sacrificed, but we keep getting these flashbacks that have Keenan in seemingly he is giving up a lot to have been there at that time. Annabelle, the club owner where all the sex goes on, she's having problems of her own with one of her employees. Just a little kind of side kind of storyline there, nothing too, you know, oh, what's that all about? I don't really think that's going to go anywhere. We have Juliet Gemmas, the reporter who got knocked back for the story. She isn't a happy lady, and she certainly wants to get her Simon Cook storyline. And it looks like she's a determined lady and certainly will be making an impression on Simon's life, no doubt, further on in this title. We get a little kind of vignette between the prankster and the old man. This is the only time when, you know, Joe Casey can't help himself. We have an erect phallus, and that is the only kind of sexual in-your-face kind of picture within this. You can't get away from it, but there's this kind of interrogation from old man who wants some information or something from the prankster. But again, it's interesting because those two obviously have a history where they've teamed up in the past against kind of like Simon Cook's superhero character. Again, there's a little kind of side bit with the Japanese contingency who have come to strike a deal with the Cook Company, and basically they're out shopping for women. The kind of rather sleazy head of Japanese contingency with a row of beautiful ladies in front of him, and he's just going to pick and choose which one he wants. And right at the climax of this issue, Keenan, who's basically been spurned by Cook, is off to make his mark within a gang called the Breaks, who are looking to make an impact on our city. Like I said, this was bounds more better than it's been for a long time. And it is down to Joe Casey now tells a story. And that story doesn't have to involve naked bodies fornicating everywhere. Keep this up and I'll be happy. It's Wolverine and the X-Men issue 42, and we come to the end of Jason Aaron's run on this, what has been a thoroughly enjoyable and entertaining run. He's joined by, I think, pretty much every artist that he's worked with on this title. And that kind of has its ups and its downs, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But basically, it's graduation day here at the Jean Grey Higher School, or what is it? The Jean Grey School of Higher Learning. It's a mouthful, it really is. Yes, it's just a really kind of funny, sweet, humorous look at all our kind of young X-Men graduating, and them all coming together, and you can see there's a bond there. Yes, there's the kind of running gag with Quentin Quire, who, I mean, he started off in this title as, you know, a badass. He was kind of like the mutant terrorist, the rebel, where he just didn't want to fit in, he didn't want to be liked, but he's basically ended up being one of the most popular kids in the academy. He's actually the school president, and he graduates, and this is mortifying to him. He doesn't want any of this, and it's just funny seeing the mental pain and anguish this poor boy is going through. He just wants to be the bad boy. So there's a lot of humour going through all that. There's a kind of small little side part where Phantom X is flirting with, I think it's Abigail Brand, and she burns him. She puts him well in his place. As usual, it's Jason Aaron just dotting around these kind of really fun, humorous and entertaining little sides that have made this book a really light side of kind of the X-Men universe, and it's been so well appreciated, especially from me. Just to have a more light-hearted book to read of the X-Men rather than so much kind of like, I don't know, really deep, you know, dark stuff. Yes, like I say this over and over again, it got kind of tied into a lot of the events that went on over the years, but it still kept the lighter side, and it was just the fun Wolverine and X-Men book. There's a little bit of cheese, there's a little bit of corn in there when Captain America shows up and gives his big buddy speech to Quentin Quire, and I just want to throw up. But interspersed through all this, we are given a kind of future storyline with Logan and Eddie apparently closing down the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning. It's basically, it doesn't look like, well, it looks like it's seen better days, let's put it that way. It's an empty school, everyone's gone. Obviously all these original characters from this, from the present day have all grown up. They've become kind of like proper superhero kind of characters in their own right, and they're off battling whatever dangers that confront them. And it's a little bit maudlin, it's a little bit sad, and as you're going along, you're just thinking, oh okay, right at the very end of this, as they're closing the school down, they're all going to be there in a big group and we're all going to have a laugh and go, ha ha ha, weren't we all great, what times we've had. But that doesn't happen. Something entirely different happens, and you kind of expect it as well once it happens. But like I said, it's just been a great run. Like I said, there's a lot of artists on here, and at times you can see who are the good ones and who are the ones that are just kind of muddling through. Very confusing when they're all kind of doing the future storyline, and Logan is portrayed as quite an old man, not as kind of lithe and frisky as he used to be. But the artists kind of, at one point he's like a kind of almost hunchback, can hardly walk type of guy, and then suddenly he's fine, he's got the white grey hair and the beard, but he's like, still, Mr. I'm Logan. So that was kind of off-putting, but at least I got the final 2 pages from Chris Pichello. So all in all, obviously Jason Aaron's series has a run out now, but go find the trades for these because you will have fun reading this. It's a no-brainer. With Justice League Dark issue 28, I had the most problems with this week, unfortunately, because it has been such a good title, but it is riddled with that disease called the event tie-ins. And obviously we've got our Forever Evil event going on at DC, and it's just, I don't know what's happened between issue 27 and 28, because I don't pick up any of the other tie-in books like the Phantom Stranger. Apparently, I think, is it Pandora's got her own title now. To be fair, DeMatteis tries to fill the reader in the first few pages with Pandora and the Phantom Stranger and this character, Cassandra Kraft, kind of fill in what has been going on, but it kind of fails. And all I can really do is just jump on the ride and attempt to figure out what is going on. Apparently, because we saw at the end of last issue that John Constantine had realised, discovered, found where the rest of the guys were being held in prison, and there is this, is it a machine, is it a place, but it's the Thaumaton, and this is where all the magic users have been imprisoned and basically being used as living weapons. Now, my biggest problem with this and trying to keep up was we have John Constantine imprisoned here. How did that even happen? When did that occur? Which tie-in did that happen? Someone fill me in and how it all happened. So I just have to go with it. Fine, he's been caught. But he's alongside Zatanna. We have a bit of a kind of meek, I guess, fight scene. Poor the Angel Zarel putting up as much of a fight as he possibly can, but seriously debilitated by the end of it. There are some quite kind of wow, gruesome parts of this book, not least poor Angel Zarel having the greatest, I guess, of punishments done to him and his body. There is this long drawn out conversation in the between John Constantine and Zatanna. It's kind of like this limbo area where they've kind of astrally projected kind of thing, so they can talk and figure out how they're going to escape and save the world. But all John Constantine wants to say is how much he loves Zatanna and how he would give up everything for her. And for God's sake, can we stop neutering John Constantine's character? Can we get back that evil bastard from Hellblazer? This John Constantine is so far removed from what the original character was. It's just so sad to see. He's acting like this love-sick puppy, and it's just not him. I know it's difficult because you've taken him out of Vertigo, you've put him in DC friendly, all ages. When I say all ages, I'm talking teens and above kind of book. So, you know, he can't be dropping F-bombs everywhere. He can't be as sadistic and uncaring as I guess he used to be in Vertigo. Though, you know, the darkness that permeates all of the kind of DC books at the moment, this kind of character wouldn't seem out of place. But we have this neutered version of what was once a great character. In comes kind of Nick Necro with his double-crossing betrayal. Why these two didn't see how fake this guy was being is beyond me, but more fool John and Zatanna. Again, there's another kind of horrific scene instigated by Necro, which has John Constantine and Zatanna being kind of, are they being burnt? They're certainly being killed and died, being dead, and they're being kind of brought back to life, and then he just continues this cycle over again, pushing the button, dying, being reincarnated, the pain of dying, making it go on and on and on again. And it is, even though it's just a page and it kind of happens 4 or 5 times, it just looks horrific. It kind of all wraps up with an appearance from the Spectre, which is all very exciting for me because I love the Spectre, but that's going to happen in The Phantom Stranger, which is the next part of this story, and I'm just like, no! Can we just leave the story in this book so I can make sense of it? We've got a new artist, Vincenzo Cifuentes, on here. It's not as good as Mikhail Yanin, but he does an absolutely awesome cover. Yanin on the front, which is probably the best part of this book this month. Issue 4 of Umbral certainly was more action-packed this month, which was a pleasant surprise. I've been worried about this title. It didn't have the huge big impact that, you know, the usual #1s from Image that they put out usually have. I gave it the benefit of the doubt because it's a genre that I really enjoy, and it kind of paid off with this issue. Like I said, the majority of this is very action-packed and fast-paced, with Rascal and her kind of smuggler friend being chased by our kind of demons, and they're trying to escape out of the Umbral. And so along the way, our two heroines, if you want to call them that, they obviously being chased by these dark, shadowy black demons. They come across Arthea. Obviously we know Arthea isn't what he appears on the outside. There is some demonic kind of possession going on inside there. And then we get this great kind of ghost pirates entering the scene and helping out our two damsels in distress against the demons. And the artwork in here by Blackwater's... No, sorry, that's the wrong one. Christopher Mitten. Is really good. I really enjoyed it. Probably, I don't know, if you're not liking the kind of the thick blacks, the colours are very heavy in this. It's not fine detailed work, but it's still really exciting. It evokes the movement, the atmosphere, and the fighting that goes on between the ghosts, the pirate ghosts, and our kind of demons is really good. I really enjoyed this. In between, there's kind of a little snippet of a kind of clandestine meeting, what appears to be the heads of various clans within this fantasy world, and there's definitely something more than meets the eye to a lot of these characters that are shown at this table. There's certainly some betraying going on there, and a lot of double crossing, and a character we've been introduced to who has more connections to the Umbral than we first thought of. It gave the book some substance finally. Yes, I've loved it because of the dark fantasy genre it inhabits, but it was kind of lacking a little with plot and progressing that. This certainly piqued my interest much more, and I'm more readily thinking of keeping going with Umbral as a title that I will enjoy further on in the future. There were certainly two books that stood out this week, both written by the same guy. Black Science issue 4 was pipped at the post for my favourite this week, but Rick Remender just doing an awesome job over at Image, having that kind of freedom to let his imagination and his creative output just unleashed. Black Science, certainly another kind of very action-packed issue where we have this kind of race against time to get back to the pillar before it sends our kind of group of scientists on to wherever this machine will take them next in time. We've got these techno-Indians, as I like to call them, giving chase, and Ward is doing his best to get the kind of team he has back to that pillar, and he's not going to let anyone be left behind. Unfortunately, tragedy strikes, and yes, someone is left behind. And that is mostly due to one of the more cowardly members of our group. Of course, it's Kadir, who betrays one of our characters, but, you know, kind of pretends that, you know, this person just couldn't keep up. So it's frantic, it's violent, it's explosive. The artwork by Matteo Scalera and Dean White on here is just phenomenal. I love it. It's, oh, no words can express. It's just an amazing sci-fi pulpy feel to it. We eventually get thrown into the future. Our guys are getting a chance really to have a rest. Grant, who has been kind of well, he was been injured for most of this first couple of issues, is now on the mend. There are kind of alliances, unholy alliances being forged, and just as they think, we're in a future world, the parts we need to properly fix the pillar will be here, and we can get home safely. We get introduced to another character who has appeared, probably again through some sort of time travelling device, masked so we don't know who they are, but they're here to, well, it appears to be they're there to bring back our group, but the way it's told, the way it's kind of brought forward to the reader, this isn't for the most helpful reasons. There's something sinister going on there. Great issue again from Rick Remender. There are many books that I will say to you, you have to pick this up. This is certainly one of those titles if you want something that, oh, just buy it. Of course, at the top of my list, it had to be another Rick Remender title. It is Deadly Class issue 2, and just a great follow-up to a fantastic first issue. I'm getting quite giddy thinking of it now. God, it's like Hogwarts for assassins, Degrassi Junior High for like the rich and infamous, Grange Hill for the mob bosses. Only my British viewers may get the Grange Hill reference. Ow, what happened here? Marcus, it's his first day at this assassin's school, and the kind of history, his past, kind of precedes him, and all his fellow classmates, all the student body, basically, of this school, don't like him. And this kind of maybe because of a past incident at one of the boys' schools, the boys' homes that he had to live in as he was growing up, and the word child killer has been bandied around. We haven't the full story on that, but we get a little kind of glimpse of it right in the first page, and certainly the end of this story. We have a serious protagonist for our friend Marcus. But yeah, there was so much fun stuff about this issue. You get Marcus going through all his classes, so you have kind of assassin psychology, beheading, a class on poison, hand-to-hand combat, and finally the black arts class. And it's in the black arts class that our kind of students are giving their first homework assignment. Unfortunately, this isn't a pass-fail. You have to pass or you die. The assignment is that they have to pair up, which unfortunately for Marcus, not having made, well, any friends while he's been here, finds it difficult to get a partner, but they have to go out and kill a vagrant, photograph the vagrant, hide the vagrant, and not get caught. And just when you think that's the cliffhanger, and we're going to go on to the next issue, we turn the page and we have this conclusion of a cop. He's investigating a disturbance in a farm, and he discovers someone with very close connections to Marcus, and we're talking the boys' school again. Just a fantastic comic book. There is nothing wrong with this. The artwork by Wes Craig, again, just really good. Love all the detail. There's like a page where all the gangs that are affiliated to this assassin school, and they're obviously from all diverse areas and lives, but they are given such distinct personalities, and they all look amazing. Of course, the only people that Marcus can really almost connect with is the outsiders, the guys that are on the roof smoking weed, chugging back beers, the rebels basically, the bad boys. Love it! Okay, so that's it for this week. Sorry it's probably gone on for way too long, but when you've got as good comics as these, I just can't stop talking about them, and I get very excited. If this is your first time watching me and you liked what you saw and you don't want to miss anything else, hit a subscribe button. I always appreciate all my subscribers, and thank you all for watching week in, week out. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, and there's a comment box down there. Fill that up with just nonsense, preferably about comics. And you never know, I'll probably get round to replying to you eventually. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.